Offices for our remote workers. When you're set up online, the company gives you your computer and everything that goes with it, and they have the ability to ping you at any point and see exactly whether you're at your workstation or not, or if your computer's open or closed, and if you're sitting there and everything. So there is no background. I mean, so they know.
Our biggest issues are in our IT group. Because they're on the computer all day, whether they're in the office or at home. And so he started basically saying, if you're not pinging off of the company, they're checking everybody every day. And it sends a report to the senior vice president of how many people showed up that day and how many people pinged onto a company server versus remotely.
That really became an issue, didn't it?
Oh, it's a bad deal.
Still not as bad as Kathy's uncle who used to work for GM, and he'd clock in and climb over the back fence and leave, and then have somebody else clock him out.
Oh my goodness.
I'm glad I didn't work in defense during COVID, because with all the protected information, you would have to have been on site, and I can't imagine what that would have been like there. There were 6,000 employees at one location.
Oh, we're green, so we're hot. I shouldn't be telling stories then. Whoops. All right. I'd like to call to order the City of Whitehouse Economic Development Corporation meeting December 21st, 2023 at 12 p.m. Susan, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Charles Parker.
Here.
Bob Breedlove. Ernie LaFleur. John Chambers.
Here.
Maria Davenport.
Here.
Tom Trimble.
Here.
And Jerry Akins.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Awesome. Presentations, don't think we have any. Public forum, nobody signed in. Is anybody here?
No, but are we going to do the consent agenda? Item B.
Oh, just skipped right over it.
Please and
Let's
thank
go.
you.
Let's go back and jump on item B, consent agenda, approval of minutes of the EDC meeting from September 21st, 2023. Any questions, amendments, any thoughts on it? I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that they are approved as presented.
Okay. Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Item C, presentations. D, public forum. We don't have anybody signed in. Item E, agenda items. Number 1, the 2023 special election sales tax relocation proposition. 1, election results. 2, discussion, consideration, and action on the reimbursement of the City of Whitehouse for the cost of the CWJ Strategies for advertisement work. So, on item 1.
Yes, sir. As y'all probably have seen now, our proposition did pass. The votes were 555 for, 245 against. That's a total of 800 votes cast with a 69% majority. So the proposition did pass. We have sent letters to the comptroller's office to let them know. I have not received a reply back as to exactly when we'll start seeing that, but we have let them know. I think that is pretty much it.
So as you all know, we worked with CWJ Strategies to do the informational piece on that. They did a great job for us. I think we sent out 4 or 5 mailers. They did a video, social media posts for us. The council approved us working with CWJ Strategies. When they sent that proposal in, they did not include the pricing for the mailers because they were dependent upon the number of registered voters, some of the information that they didn't have at that time. So the council approved the full amount, which was $17,064.05. I thought it might be prudent to bring it to the EDC to see if you all would approve the difference in their original quote without the mailers, which was $9,250. So a difference of $7,814.05. Wanted to see if the EDC wanted to contribute to a portion of those costs. So,
I think we benefit from this whole deal, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't see why that would, I think it would be a great investment seeing as how we've already benefited
it's a
from
little
it.
bit less than half of the cost of that.
Yeah, and I would like to talk more about some things that they may be able to do, help us down the road as well. I'm very pleased with how those brochures turned out and the information and how it was distributed and everything. Surprised at the number of negative votes. I don't really understand why somebody
It was
would-
based on.
what that was based on, just maybe saying no to whatever. I don't know if
Or
that
they
was
didn't
op-
understand.
Or they didn't understand it, one of the two.
I think.
And, you know, I think the school district may have some of the same issues when they were trying to do that, because they did the same thing a year ago and it failed, and they got in front of it a little better this time. So, yeah, I certainly would support that. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we fund the difference.
The difference.
I'll make a motion.
in that.
Do we need a motion to approve the,
I made the motion.
okay,
Would somebody like to second?
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All those, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay. Item 2 is discussion, consideration, and action on the 2023 contributions to the Christmas on Main event. On Main event.
Members of the EDC, if you'll remember, in 2022, the EDC contributed
5,000.
for the Christmas in the Park event. We just wanted to see if you all wanted to contribute to 2023's event. We realized a little bit late since we haven't had a meeting in a little bit. If you wanted to match that contribution, I think our total costs ended up being right at around just over $20,000 for Christmas on Main this year. If you weren't there, there were probably 7,000 to 8,000 people that came through the event that day.
It was amazing. Sorry, I'm interrupting, but it was an amazing event.
It was great.
So, anyway, so you have that option if you'd like to. If not, that's okay too.
It was a great event, brought a lot of people into Whitehouse. You know, our folks came down and they were very pleased with the turnout. I've already asked what it's gonna be next year.
I make a motion that we do make the contribution of 5,000.
I second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Okay. Item 3, discussion, consideration, and action on joining the Whitehouse Chamber of Commerce at the same level as the City of Whitehouse.
Like all I'm doing is asking for money today.
Yeah.
This came up, actually, Tom and I were sitting in on the last Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors meeting. And as you all, I don't know if you all are aware, they have done a lot of work to move the Chamber of Commerce forward in the last couple of years. And it started with really bringing on a really strong person as their admin assistant, I guess, for the Chamber of Commerce. They've done a lot of work to increase their professionalism, their programs, their benefits that they're providing to their members. And this item came about, they are debating, I guess, or kind of deliberating amongst themselves on whether or not to join the East Texas Coalition. And so if you're not familiar with what the East Texas Coalition is, it's a group of chambers of commerce, so it includes, and Tom, you may have to help me, Kilgore,
Longview, Kilgore, Lindale, Tyler, and Whitehouse.
and Whitehouse. So we have participated with them probably for a year now, but they are changing the way that coalition is made up. They are really trying to form an organization that's really kind of codified with bylaws and lay out membership, and so, Tom, do you wanna talk a little bit about how that's kinda laid out?
So the membership is laid out based on the size of the chamber. And the larger chambers, Longview and Tyler, would pay a certain level. And as you had fewer members, which Whitehouse would be the smallest chamber in there, we would pay the lowest level to be a part of it. And so the chamber level is about $5,000. The benefit to this is you've got these 5 different entities that are, basically will choose an item. So say something comes up on a tax item, and they really wanna, it's good for all 5 communities. Everybody benefits from it, everybody gets something from it. They would go in as a group and basically talk to all of the legislators around here, go to Austin, talk to them, and make sure that they understand that this area, East Texas, is behind this particular bill or whatever. And so it's a really good for Whitehouse to be a part of that in the onset is very valuable, because they're gonna do it no matter what, and we would actually have a pretty heavy seat at the table, because you don't take on an item as the East Texas Coalition unless there's 100% agreement on it from all the chambers. And so Whitehouse would have 2 members of the board. Tyler would still have 8 members of the board. And so 50% of their people would have to vote yes for something, 50% for Whitehouse. But if Whitehouse didn't feel like something was good for their community, and they vote no on it, it doesn't go through. So it's a really, I think it's a great program. It really regionalizes, kind of creates a regional entity that is able to push for certain things in Austin, which you really need.
Lobby on behalf of our White House businesses.
So if the EDC joins the White House Chamber, that doesn't automatically give the EDC a seat on anything. It just
No.
puts their voice into the
So-
mix.
It would help the chamber fund their position in the
Yeah.
East Texas
Oh,
Coalition.
gotcha.
Now, they're two one isn't necessarily dependent upon the other. This is not the EDC saying, yes, we think you should join the coalition. But that's where that funding would go for, is their seat in the coalition.
It would assist that greatly.
And really kind of my thought was, small business issues in White House are EDC issues. I mean, we have anything that affects our small businesses here affects our economic development. And so that's kind of the time where I was coming from on whether or not the EDC should consider joining the chamber.
And I didn't know that the EDC wasn't a member of the chamber and did not have a membership. And so it made sense.
There's, as I recall, there's 3 or 4 different levels of funding within the chamber. And it's your choice to be able to do that one, because used to they did it on employee size, and now then they've put some tiers in based on that.
So, I think, let me pull it up. They have nonprofit pricing, I think is, well, let me just pull it up so I don't miss.
It's $150 a year it's not very much for the nonprofit for the lowest level.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm willing to do this, but I'm all about having ownership in things, and your comment sparked that in me. And maybe I'm way off in left field. I tend to go there, as y'all know. I would not be opposed to asking the EDC to fund, say it's $5,000, to fund $2,500, half of the money, if we can have a seat at the table, one of those seats, as members of the EDC.
So right now.
A little hook on it, in
The
other words.
way I think the East Texas Coalition is set up is they are not allowing that to happen for any chamber. They've been pretty clear, they don't want necessarily an organization to be able to pay to play
Yeah,
at the.
buy
at the
their
board
way
level.
in.
So,
Move over to Wrightsville.
cause that came up
It was good, though.
during
Yeah,
that
they
meeting.
did come, and
You knew somebody had to ask that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so,
I think that came up out of Tyler too.
I'm sure it did. Because
But,
who wouldn't?
everybody would want to sit
Everybody
at
wants
that
to pay to
table.
play.
And you know, my take on it is that I think, first and foremost, I think the EDC needs to be a member of the chamber. But just what level do we need to be a member? I think they do a lot for our businesses here. They do help, so I don't
I
think
think
that.
there has been dramatic improvement over the past several years, yes, I agree with that.
Even just the groundbreakings and that sort of thing is a big promotion to new businesses and stuff.
The ribbon cuttings,
Ribbon cuttings, yeah.
the social media aspect of
Yeah,
it has
absolutely.
greatly increased. I've been, as a part of the business community, I've been impressed with what they've done this year. And grown their membership pretty significantly.
And I can't see why we shouldn't try to make it an attempt to be present at any ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings. And so if we were members of the chamber, we'd have more notification of that, and it would be easier to do that.
So
And
the-
I'm on the chamber board as well, so.
and so their membership levels are $100 for nonprofit, $150 a year at their mid-tier, and then $300 a year at their top tier. The city is a member at $5,000 a year.
5,000 a year?
We could do that.
Why, well, if that's the membership level, why is it the city's 5,000?
So the city has been at that level long before I got here, but I will say it's because I think we're committed to seeing them succeed. We're committed to seeing what they do to promote and support our businesses in this community. We had considered doing away with that a couple of years ago when we were offering quite a bit more staff support than we are now. But because of the changes that they've made and the value that they're bringing to our community, we've stayed at that level and are committed to staying at that level.
And wasn't the original reason too, because we did support the staff?
Yeah,
We
we
paid,
Really to contribute
the city
towards the
paid
staff
half
level.
of it and half of it came from the chamber.
It's not close to half now, I don't
No.
think, but, yeah, we've got a great relationship with the chamber. They also contributed towards Christmas on Main, beyond doing the vendors and the parade. They contributed financially to the ice skating rink and some of those kind of things.
I'm cautious about supporting that because what I don't want, my concern is that just like the city, when you start down with a $5,000 road on supporting something, and then if there's a path taken by the organization you're supporting that doesn't necessarily align with where you're heading as an organization, it's really hard to think about pulling those funds without upsetting a great number of people. And that's my reservation with going all the way to 5,000 on that. I'm not opposed to it necessarily, I just have seen things in the past that can.
But did we have a Tom at that point?
Well, there's
Good
always
people.
been good people
Yeah.
involved, very, very good people. I don't have any, I'm not casting any dispersions on anything. I'm just saying the direction has varied based on the various presidents and based on various leadership when they were in there. I think they've lined a lot of that out and done some strategic realignments and so on and so forth, and they've done things the right way, and I like the path that they're on. I'm just trying to say the concerns.
Oh, no, I understand the concerns too. I just, one of the things I do see the value that they're bringing to the community as well, and to us as an EDC. I think supporting our current businesses is one of what we're tasked with as well. And I think that's a good way to do it, is show support for the businesses that are here.
Are we members of the Tyler Chamber as the EDC?
I don't think so. I think just the city is.
Okay, because we probably need to look at joining that as well.
Okay.
Tyler Chamber?
Yes.
No, I agree. I think
Honestly, I think we should join them both. Now, what level?
So when we talk about level, right, like the number to join was substantially lower. It was like, what, 150 or whatever number you said. And then you're asking for an additional contribution up to the 5,000. So could we join at minimum and then do like a recurring optional contribution at the additional, what, $4,800 or whatever the numbers are, right? So that this one is discretionary or whatever, and it comes up each year. So it's a donation of sorts. I don't know
I
if
would,
that addresses your concern.
I would support it as long as there was a stipulation on it that all future yearly contributions above the annual membership dues are subject to a board vote.
And that's what I was trying to come up with.
I'd be fine with that.
I
Yeah.
like that too.
I feel like that addresses your
So it's,
concern.
it's
right?
totally contingent as long as it comes back for a vote every single year. And if somebody would like to make a motion that's the
I'll make
case.
I'll
Call it
make a motion.
sponsorship versus a donation.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so the wording would be something like this. The motion would be to, join the Whitehouse Chamber of Commerce at a membership level of, what is it, $150? Was that the maximum?
300 is the max.
300 at a $300. And additionally, we would consider a $4,700 discretionary, contribution, subject to annual review by the board of the EDC.
I'll either make
You
a
want me to say it?
motion or second.
So I'll move that, I'll make a motion to,
You can
Let's
say
see.
what Charles
As
just
presented.
said.
what Charles just
As
said.
presented.
She got it all.
I'll second that motion.
So it was
let's-
Tom
let's
with the
go.
motion, John with the second.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, since we're spending more than money, let's do a roll call on this one, please.
Jerry Akins,
4.
Tom Trimble,
4.
Charles Parker,
Yes.
John Chambers,
Yes.
and Maria Davenport.
Yes.
The motion is approved. Okay. Do we need to do a separate motion to join? We just said join the White House, so we're gonna have on a future agenda, a motion to join
Tyler.
Tyler. So, which brings us down to number 4, which is consider future agenda items, so. See how I did that there?
I like that. I like the way you did that.
Well done.
I would like for us to consider a partnership with CWJ Strategies. I don't know exactly what they have to offer, but I would like to bring them in for a meeting to have a consultation with them and have a discussion on what they might be able to do to A, promote the city of Whitehouse, B, possibly help promote the Economic Development Corporation, and C, to help with our overall strategic plan that we have in place. I just want to bring them in for a conversation, see what that might cost, come up with some ideas and options based on those 3 ideals. If somebody has another idea that goes with that, then fine. If not,
I'm all for that. I think they're a great group. their work in this area is very good, especially on votes and,
Well, we
getting
don't-
votes for, I mean, this tax issue was phenomenal.
But I think they can do, I think they're capable of doing some other things as well.
So they might, like, for one example, get collateral together to promote the city of Whitehouse in trying to attract new businesses and that kind of thing for going after new businesses.
Right, and they might be valuable in future website design and some of those kind of things as well, and content and some other things that, maybe city staff, can do, but, you know, they have limits of time and other responsibilities, so strategic partnership is something that can be extremely valuable, I think. But I don't know what they can do, so I'd like to hear from them.
So this other one's kind of a question. I don't really know if this is cart before the horse or what, but, the East Texas Council of Government Initiative for the Middle Mile provisions, right? That gets us so far, and then there's been discussion whether or not it would be appropriate for the EDC to go from the middle mile to the premise or the home. I don't know if we need to have someone from East Texas Council of Government help with the planning to the premise or what, but where that is ultimately funded and owned and managed is a discussion I think we need to drive home at
Okay.
some point. So I guess I'm offering it up as a question, does it need to be, do you feel it appropriate as an agenda for the EDC as a future item or just sidebar discussions? Not,
Let's you and I set up a time
Okay.
to talk about it, 'cause I'm not sure, I wanna hash that out a little bit further, so
perfect.
let's get past the first of the year.
Yeah, cause that was like,
Cause I'm not sure I know how to move it forward, so I think if you and I maybe kinda talk that out,
Okay, yeah, perfect.
it'd be good.
I know we've had some challenges this year in terms of meetings and times and all of that. Is the move that we made to the, what is it, third Thursday, you know, is that seeming to work with everybody? In my case, I just have a hard time when October, November, December rolls around. It's really challenging for me to squeeze some things in during the day, but, you know, but I think I've only missed one, but anyway, I'm just wondering how that works with everybody.
Mine's all weather dependent. So I'll do everything I can to be here if the weather's fine. When the weather gets bad, usually that's
Yeah.
not good. And then, you know, it doesn't, third Thursday, second Thursday, any day of the week, it all depends on, you know,
I get it.
my schedule, but I'll do whatever I can to be here.
it worked well for me. My office is slow right now, so this works fine.
Yeah, it's kind of hard me working it in, but.
Yeah, I know, it's tough.
That work schedule's killing me.
What else have y'all got?
I was wondering if y'all have any update on the billboard situation, digital billboard.
No,
But
I
let's
haven't.
finish.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We need to finish the future agenda items before we go to administrative reports and discuss, those kind of things with staff. I know, I'm being a stickler. But I haven't run a meeting in a while, so, and I remember the basic rules, and I already messed up to start the meeting, so there you go. Anything else on future agenda items? Floor is yours.
For reports from staff, so the bank statement is included in your packet. To answer your question, I've not followed back up on it hasn't moved anywhere, based on the feedback you all kinda gave. We just kinda let that sit on ice for a little bit. But the bank register is in your packet. Your fund balance is healthy. Susan and I think, or the mayor, Susan, and I, after the first year, hoping to get with Scott Martinez to look at some potential properties for land acquisition. We had something kind of tentatively on the calendar between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and because of schedules, that didn't work out. So I do want you all to know that that's still on our radar, is something that we're looking at. And hopefully you can get that scheduled, like I said, after the first year.
And I have not forgotten about Blue Dot, just with everything going on towards the end of the year. I have not pushed forward very much on that. I do plan to start that sometime in between new permitting software and some other things going on. I'm trying to get that software up and going too, because I know that's very important. I haven't forgotten you, Jerry, I
Oh,
promise.
I know you haven't. I know you're busy.
Is there any others interesting things going on within the city of Whitehouse that some of us haven't kept up with very well, that we should know? Okay.
I think the region, the growth in the region is just amazing right now.
Yeah, we haven't seen a lot of new businesses wanting to come in over the last several months. That's been pretty slow. But I think it's been slow kind of everywhere. It's not really surprising. So we'll see what happens maybe after the first year and in the spring. So,
We're still seeing a lot of people moving in.
yeah, we have a lot of, we still have residential.
Residential is growing real fast. And a few businesses up up north along I-20.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing for here is still getting the loop finished over.
Yeah.
That still is a game changer for this area.
I agree. Interest rates are, I think, hurting things. And from an economic point of view, I think that's, you know, 2 years ago, you could buy a new car at 0%, and now then it's 10 or something. You know, so it's, you know, home mortgages went from 2 to 7 to 8, whatever. So, you know, I think that's probably having an effect on both pricing and sales, and that stretches a business, you know, in terms of their inventory and how they're financing that, and all of the things that go with lines of credit, and as well as business expansion and whatever else. So, you know, but I don't think in our area we're experiencing the downturn like in other parts of the country. I mean, granted, we're not Taylor, Texas, but with their growth, but I think outside of Texas, what did I read this week? There were 1.6 million new people moved to Texas this past year.
We just need Samsung out here.
That's it.
Get some land.
Just all we need is some land and a tech company, chip builder.
We got as much power as they need.
We got water too.
Got water.
They don't have a lot of water out there.
Yeah, that's all. That's all we need. Small ask.
Yeah, I'd just personally be happy if we could get a Costco inside the city limits of my house. You know,
You're so easy to please.
so easy. You know, the tax generation for the city alone would be a game changer.
Glad we're not losing businesses.
There we go.
So,
And Taco Bell is still,
you're still out there on the horizon.
Getting a lot of that Amazon tax from me right now.
Yeah, me too.
me too.
Yeah, my recycle bin's been full. I empty it, fill it back up. So, what else y'all got? I mean,
The sidewalks are looking really good. I know that's TxDOT though, right? But how is working going? They look fine. I think they look great down there.
Yeah. I mean, and TxDOT did that at no cost to the city. There was no match requirement on our part, which is great. We weren't even sure that project was gonna get done because of some issues we had getting some easements and that type of thing, so we're tickled they moved forward with the project. I'm glad they did it. I think it's a great win for our community, so. It's painful while they were here, but now that they're gone, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
And they were great to work with. That was actually handled out of the Longview TxDOT office, and they were great to quickly address any issues or concerns that we had.
That's fantastic.
I know that has Frontier wrapped up their
Oh no, they're still digging.
expansion, or are they still digging?
They're still digging. And Vexus has permits, they're digging in town.
Conterra will have one soon.
You know, the city ought to think about finding them for hitting other
We do
utilities.
send them some bills, so. Don't you worry.
I'm just,
Yeah, they get some bills from us when that happens. Yeah, and then the council just recently approved, as John kind of mentioned, a broadband plan. It's actually, we're the only projects identified in Smith County, so we are the Smith County broadband plan. Looking at installing a conduit system citywide that different fiber providers could share so that they wouldn't have to dig every time somebody new comes in. So after the first year at COG, we'll be looking at some funding opportunities for that. So that'll be interesting. I'm kind of skeptical on what our funding possibilities are gonna be because it's kind of a unique scope that I haven't seen before, so it'll be interesting to see if there are any opportunities for that. But that's exciting, so that
So
was
it's
not
basically a shared space.
Yeah.
That'd be just
So it reduces their installation cost, right, gets them to the home faster without everybody's yard or street being torn up.
Or no
And
water.
without cutting other people's lines 800 times.
Yep.
no water, no
Grants from
sewer,
utility
no
commission or
electric
something.
damage.
So the
Boil
utility
water.
commission doesn't really put out
They don't
grants,
care.
they, no, they're just mainly regulatory fun stuff. So
do
it'll be,
grants for
it would go through the Texas Broadband Development Office
Oh.
if there's anything that comes down. But I don't even know that conduit projects like that are on anybody's radar at the federal level, so. We'll see.
okay. Well, if there's, is there anything else y'all want to talk about? The time is now 12:35 and we are adjourned.
Quick and easy.
You're much more gentle with that gavel.
Dude, that genius,
Yeah,
yeah.
honestly.